Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, we had quite a bit of things happening. Now, Deku stopped an assassination attempt on Princess Lillian's life. Now, after that happened, he read the man's mind, and the next morning, after spending the night searching for Bakugo and allowing Lillian to rest, he informed her as to what was happening. He was going to go to that kingdom and fulfill a promise he made to the king. If he ever had to step foot back on that man's land, in that room with him, he was going to kill him. And after Deku, he fulfilled his promise, and informing the new queen as to her position, she was more than willing to listen to him. Considering the fact that he just walked right in, murdered the strongest man in their nation with the turn of his wrist, and then murdered their king in broad daylight in front of everybody. He then dropped the man's remains on a chair. And considering the fact that someone would have to sweep him up with a dustpan, she was terrified and more than willing to listen to any demand Deku tried to make. He didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for wealth. He dropped a bag of coins for them to pay for the damages to the castle. So yeah, that was very confusing. He then informed their neighbors as to what was happening in their nation. He then returned and had to argue with the court about what was happening. Queen Lillian's first day started with someone trying to kill her. So yeah, considering the fact that he, quote-unquote, did something bad and retaliated against a possible threat, he didn't want to hear it from them. If they don't like it, shove it and blow it out their ass. That's basically what he told them. He wasn't taking any of their shit. Now, he dropped a sizable amount of gold to get them in better conditions, an alliance with their ally, and 200,000 gold coins to drop into expanding their military force and put into the kingdom. Right now, that is what he did. And Lillian, yeah. After Deku informed her as to what he did, she was confused about what to do. How exactly to reward him for all he's done? And she kissed him. That being quite out of the blue and surprising to Deku. Now, after Deku, he was able to leave, he told Indra about this immediately. And she joked a bit about it before trying to tell him. It's quite easy to understand that the princess had a thing for him. And after they talked about the quote-unquote treasure hoard, Deku mistaking her seriousness for a joke, yeah. They're probably going to have that discussion later. Deku, however, took Indra to cash in his favor with the Archfey, allowing her to get a new magic power. And with that being said, let's currently start a few days later. It's been about 4 days. He's just sitting here in his bed, thinking about a lot. Last night, Indra decided to try and hint to what her magic was. She's been doing a lot with it. I mean, he's not sure what she picked. Thinking about it now, it's kind of interesting. The favor the Archfey owed him was a big one. She was happy to finally have it called upon and their debt to be settled. Though she was happy to see him again. I mean, this was not just some regular run-of-the-mill debt. He showed her things that her mind could not have perceived in all of her entirety. If she got to have a new experience after thousands of years leading the Feywild, that means something. She's a powerful woman. and a new experience. Those don't come around often. So that favor was quite a hefty one. At least he's assuming that. He did remind her, though, that they were family. And Indra is technically family. And this does make him think about it for a minute. It's finally settling in. He's going to be a dad. I mean, hell. These last couple days, he's been trying to figure out that magic type she got, but that's what hits him the hardest. 3 years. Hopefully one day he can go home. See it once again at the very least. Talk to his mom. Go through that. He's angry at a lot of things. Killing that man reminded him that a part of him he doesn't like is still there. And after these last couple days, he just needs something he can punch. Not hit with a sword, not strike with a blade. Punch. As hard as physically possible. And he does it somewhat sit up. Indra not going to stir as he does go to turn. Going to look at her for a second and smile. Just smile. It's incredible. Is this the piece that he lost? He doesn't understand this weird feeling he's getting. Is that what this is? He doesn't feel angry. Not right now. He doesn't feel that bloodthirst, that rage. No, it's still there. It's just, it's not roaring for attention. Okay. Him going to open his menu. And he does go to ask Draconic Advisor if it can be active. Yes. What do you need knowledge of? What do you need counsel for? You have all the quests in my inventory that I got at the auction? Yes, that is correct. Why? Do you have access to them? Have you gone over them? Have you? I went over many, but there were dozens. Just a lot. Can you sort them out? Yes. How many did I get? You got approximately 317. Okay, wow. Can we sort those down into categories? Categories. Yes. What category? High rank quest. 178. Okay, how many of those are S rank? Very powerful or higher? Approximately 100. Okay, so this was worth the attention I gave it. What quest would you recommend is good for a hunt? Would you like these quests on a time limit? Or a possible extension of how long it may go on for? Some are close to expiring and one is of an urgent matter. Is it? Yes. Hang on one second. Deku being more surprised when his screen is at a change. And it does gonna pop up the scroll talking about a creature. There is a creature currently on a rampage. And right now, it is said to have awakened about 2 to 3 weeks ago in a nation far away. It's going to be on the rampage for some time. It only wakes up once a century. It will ravage the area for months and eat. Consume all the mass it can, and then it will go back underground, lay its eggs, and, well, go dormant? He's not sure what this is, but this quest sounds like it's to take on a purple worm. Incorrect. Incorrect? The beast they're mentioning is not a purple worm. It is a powerful worm, yes, but one that awakens once every century. Many have gathered together in multiple nations to fight it, requiring champions to come back from the front line in order to brawl. Okay, now you have my attention. Is this considered to be an event quest? It is considered to be one of high importance. The last time this event happened was about 100 years ago, and it was believed that the century worm's eggs were all decently destroyed. Apparently not. This is one event in which a century worm may finally achieve its goal. Its spawn may spread and it will get more dangerous. These creatures are quite rare and are in competition with other worms underground. Okay, at least it's not a giant centipede. Advisor? It was not pertinent to the subject. I see. Okay. What would you classify its ranking? Classification rank. Rank is approximately rank 300, if not higher. No information currently on Beast through the monsters you have slain. Okay. What is my current best course of action? To get strength quickly. Processing. Current advice. Your most direct route to power is draconic empowerment. You are too high of a rank for a certain quest to be considered profitable to your experience margin. Recommended course of action. Take on dragons. Find them, kill them, gain their power and knowledge. Add to the collective you do currently have. Save draconic shards until you find a skill you deem important enough to have. Recommended note of stopping is at approximately level 400. Experience gained by then may be minimal, but may still be beneficial. And how many dragon quests do I have? You have several. One important quest for the most direct route would be to take on a clan of the White Dragons. They have been tormenting an area for hundreds of years. And there are several dragons to take on, two of which are in the ancient status. Okay, so that's 6 already for 2 of them. If there's a lot more, then that's a lot of shards. It is also important to note, the ancient ones may not be taken on. Why not? Draconic shards are gained. You gain 2 extra. However, empowerment does not rise by 3 when you kill an ancient dragon. It still does go off of 1 point, such as what an adult dragon is worth. Okay, I didn't think of that. Actually, I haven't thought about that at all. Is my current strength enough to take on Davrum? They said that it was a lesser god. Do not believe so. Attaining divinity is not something you currently have the information to do. Obtaining divinity? Is that possible? Scanning. Hey, I'm waiting there for a minute. Becoming a god? Okay, well, the Demon Lord did it by eating the flesh of a dead god, but he's not about to do that. Not if he can help it. It is an interesting question. He didn't know people could gain divinity. I mean, he knew they could become demigod-like, but to actually become a god? No current information is known on the subject. To gain more, please expand your current library of information. Deku understanding. A century worm. Take it on in a kingdom, and he believes he remembers this person. Okay. Well, if he's gonna go out and punch something this powerful, him turning, looking at Astoth and Little Wrath, going to somewhat lay there on piles of gold. Him walking over and bending down. Before he does, gonna poke the dragon on the nose, and after a second, it does gonna slowly raise its eyes. It going to look at him as it does gonna raise its head, rolling over as he has a someone scratch its underbelly and tell him, okay, yeah, he gets it, he's tired, but he was going to go on a bit of a hunt. The dragon immediately going to shift and turn. Deku hearing the weight of the coins under its claws. Little Wrath going to stir. Andra shifting behind Deku as she does go to somewhat wake up. Going to turn as she does a sit up and ask him what he's doing. It's early. Besides, it's his day off, isn't it? It is. But Theodore's back from York. Voss is supposed to be here too, but I'm going to be heading out. Really? Where are you going? I'm gonna go on a bit of a hunt with my dragons. I did promise them that. Her going to climb on a bed and go to stand. Going to somewhat stretch before she does a turn, popping her back and allowing her wings to come out. Them unfurling and stretching as she does go to use magic to re-conceal them. Right now her turning and going to place her hands on her hips, expressing, if he's going to be doing that, don't do anything stupid. Who said I'm going to do anything stupid? What are you hunting? That's a secret. For guys, him turning to the little dragon. It going to somewhat let out a small roar and a puff of fire. And Indra does a walkover, going to bend down and pick the dragon up from its tiny hoard of gold. Right now, Little Wrath going to flap up into the air and going to chirp out at her. A what? Hey, little traitor. Don't. Okay, if you want to tell her, then you won't go. It going to turn to Deku and go to roar out at him. Him staring at the tiny dragon, not intimidated, burying up his arm and allowing it to land. And right now, it does go to make its way directly up to his shoulder and nuzzling itself into his chin, trying to suck up to him for nearly giving away what their prey is going to be for the day. And right now, Indra does get a turn, telling him that he really shouldn't do that. It's a dangerous thing. Besides, it might be worth the experience. If I get to level 300, something important might happen. Besides, we've only got, what? About 17 days before that other quest opens up. Okay. And Granala might be attacked. Grunala won't be attacked. At least I don't think. I'm going to do this quest and come back. Him manifesting the horn and handing it off to her. Telling her, this thing scared a lesser god. From what he understands. So, if she has it, she can at least fend off it. That is Aurora's horn. Right. Okay, I'll do my own training then, since I'm up. Though, you owe me. You better not come back late. I'll try not to. Though, I've got a few quests to try and knock out for the day. Good. Have you found Bakugo yet? I haven't. But I'm sure he'll pop up soon. At least I hope. Oh, Chaco's still going through it. Really? Yeah. It's almost been an entire month. She's gonna be okay, right? I think so. But let's have some breakfast. I know I'm hungry. So am I. I think I managed to work up an appetite. Her turning, and the four do to walk away as they do head off to breakfast. And there is where Deku, he does just want to sit there thinking about what he did. Right now he's trying to sort through and plan out some quests for the day. Apparently one of the areas, they do actually have dinosaurs nearby. So he's actually kind of interested to see about looking at a T-Rex. Seeing one, maybe punching one? How does a T-Rex taste? I mean, dinosaurs and dragons used to be the same thing at some point in time, so if that's true, is the flesh just less magical? Oh, right. Him turning. Ask her if she wants him to take that dragon to the witch. She can do a few things with it. Sure. But is it going to be alright? She doesn't live that far away. If I tell her about what to do, then she'll do it. Though you can hand it off to the guild and I can talk to her about it. Let her know. Fine, you can do that. Right now, someone going to turn and enter the room. Princess Lillian seeing Deku as she also see Indra, asking if she can speak to her. Indra looking directly at Lillian. About? It was a bit of a private matter. I understand that your father is the ruler of a nation nearby that one man's land, and he's dealt with him before? Right. I completely forgot about that. So what do you want? I would like to talk to Atrigue and see what I can do. Possibly set up a meeting and talk with their queen? It would be nice to have him there. As a show of force, or because he's also another leader? Well, a bit of both, to be honest. I would not like to pull that card, but your father is a very kind man. I believe he'd understand. I'm sure he would. Though, I'm sure you're aware he won't like it. Being used as a political tool? Perhaps, but if you don't have food, then he won't like it as well. Possibly grab tea. Invite Theodore. I know the two have a lot to talk about. Of course. I can also invite Voss and, well, even Pierce. I hear her and Theodore have been talking about a few things and even training a bit. Really? That sounds interesting. It is. Though I'm fairly certain their rivalry is just beginning. I don't think it's a rivalry. Really? Her turning her head, making sure that no one is nearby. And she just won't lean in, talking about it. She believes Theodore and her may have a bit more going on. They didn't hear from her, but she's convinced Theodore and her might be an item. Really? Yes. I mean, I have heard some talk, and the two, they do often spend some time training together. That's good. Though, how's Pierce doing? She used to be a warforged? That's correct. I healed her. That is miraculous. She's been doing better. And she did want to pay her respects to you for that as well. I can talk to them later. Right now, I've got a few quests to do. Him going to stand up and go to bring his hands up, cracking his neck and going to turn his head, opening his map and trying to find where this new quest has popped up. When he does get to find the marker, he does get to find the kingdom. His eyes focusing and seeing the throne room before he does get to turn back, expressing to the two. He's not sure when he'll be back. He might be out for a while today. So, don't catch up. Him going to vanish. And right now, Deku, he does going to reappear in the throne room as guards do going to suddenly get on guard. One even turning and rushing Deku as he does bring up a hand, going to casually catch the blade in a finger as he does go to express. Hello, he's the hero. The man going to stand. And the king, he does go to quickly throw off the cowl that currently is on his back. Deku watching as the man's wings, they do to extend. The large pair of white angelic wings going to furl back behind him as he does a step forwards, falling to a knee as many members of the guard do stare on. And seeing the king do this, it does make them follow in response, as the queen does a stand and go to give him a bow, as she does keep her head lowered. Deku expressing, sorry to make a sudden appearance. He's heard about their issues with the Sentry Worm, and he was hoping to look into it. Yes, that would be very much appreciated, Sir Midoriya, but you can call me Izuku. That is my first name. Yes, Lord Izuku. Please don't call me a lord. I'm simply just a person trying to help. Well, yes, but it is customary in these lands. I understand. I will respect your customs. And you must be... I am King Ahima. It is a pleasure to meet you. Deku would actually bow his head as the man does look a little surprised. Deku standing up and expressing. He'd like to know exactly where this quest is. He's using it as a bit of a training as well as a way to hunt with his familiars. You're wishing to hunt? This is no mere training, young man. With all due respect, this has been something my people have been dealing with for hundreds of years. The beast is foul, and many other nations as well. They do not wish to send more of their warriors after it. We're forced to. I understand. That's why I'm here. Those men shouldn't have to throw away their lives. And to be honest with you, I need to blow off some steam about a few issues I'm having. I see. Well, I can give you a full party, and that's fine. I can handle it myself. As I said before, with my familiars, it'll be more than enough. The man's staring at Deku as he does go to bow his head and understanding, expressing that a team may still go with him if they may observe this encounter. The Sentry Worm, whenever it does really spawn from its stomach, they will spread rapidly. And they do fear that if one does get away, then they may start this cycle all over again. I do understand. I can do my best with the area. And the creature in question. Yes, young man. I will give you someone to escort you. That may take a few minutes. That's fine. I'll be back in a minute with my familiar. I'm going to turn, going to look at the king as the man doesn't say another word. Him vanishing as there is a few minutes later. Right now, they do a comment about a man outside. And when the king and a few other people do come walking out, one of them does a stop dead as the king walks directly into them. His eyes focused on the giant red dragon with a spiked tail directly in front of him. And the beast, it is massive. It is three, no, 3.5, 4 stories tall. The creature, it's unlike any he's seen. It turning its head, looking down as Deku, he does go to walk over, going to climb up on its back as another small creature can be seen. Right now it flying down and going to chirp out to a few people. Deku going to whistle out for Wrath as he does going to fly back over. Someone commenting on the strange dragon. And someone does going to step up. Right now, a man expressing about how he will lead him to the worm's lair and the land it's been terrorizing for a long time. Deku nodding his head, quite happy that at the very least, he'll get this over with today. And a few people do to take off into the sky. Right now, Astoth, he does try to glide through the air, trying to keep pace with these people, allowing them to set it as there is when they do get to the area. And Izuku, he doesn't see much going on right now. They already passed by a village that looked like it was destroyed a while back. So the worm must have went dormant to rest and is trying to do what? Regain strength for its next rampage? That is a bit odd. Though, it could also be burrowing underground for anything to hunt. It exists in the area. Right. If he takes it out, then something might be able to take out its spawn in the Underdark. It should be around here. Lord Midoriya. Yes. This is the area. It may be some time before the creature will make an appearance. I can handle that. What do you know about these creatures that I may not? Well, they are said to be like purple worms in some regards. Blind and possibly with another sense. I see. Can they sense people? Yes, they may. They eat many things in their way. They have very poor eyesight, but they have another way of detecting someone. It is unknown if it is magical means or something that it may simply be able to do. But its power is said to be great. The creature also spits bile. It's corrosive. Along with that, getting near it, it's said that those who do, they suffer odd effects. Some say the air crackles around it. Now that's just getting me more excited. The person's staring at Deku, as a slow grin does begin to spread along his face. Him going to stand on top of the dragon and tell Astoth and Little Wrath. Right now, he's going to try and draw its attention. The moment he does, they're going to go into battle. Turning to Wrath, expressly telling the tiny dragon, telepathically, if at any point in the battle he thinks it's too dangerous, he is backing away. Then they'll go on a different type of hunt. This one may be too dangerous for him. Deku crossing his arms. Do you understand? It going to somewhat sit there before chirping out. Though, with the rapid amount of expression its little face is going to go through, he can tell that this dragon is fired up. And Wrath does a roar out to Deku and he does it a turn. Yeah, keep your hat on. Him going to step off of the dragon. And the people flying with their wings do go to see that. As Izuku, he does mean a plummet fast. Right now, him looking down and trying to think of the best strategy. If it can sense people in its territory, he's going to make a lot of noise. Right now, him crash into the ground and then going to stand. Feeling the ground underneath him beginning to shake as he does begin to try and think about the best strategy. If that didn't get its attention, he's going to have to use magic. Geomagic? Perhaps, but how much of the area would he have to shake? Or maybe just punch the ground. This is a massive opportunity for him. Okay. Maybe start out with base stats. That would be fun. Experiment, turn on Fury, and then if he does need to, move up from there. That can definitely make an interesting fight. If he does need to go all out, then go all out. Yeah, no, that definitely does sound fun. Him looking around, looking down, and beginning to try and get a feel for the ground. And it doesn't seem right. He does begin to focus on the earth under his feet. Nothing so far has moved. Nothing shifted. Nothing is out of place. He can feel the tunnels down there. But if its line has been burrowing in this area for centuries, then it could be in any one of them. Right. It may not even be close by. But if they said it was, if it was spotted in the area, it could go for another nearby town. There's a large town about, 30 miles from here? Okay. If it gets there, those people are all going to die. That will be another tragedy. Him raising his fist and going to turn on his force magic. And whenever the lightning does begin to crackle around his fist, the strange aura around it, he does throw his fist directly into the ground. And the ground, it does begin to erupt with a shake, and the crater around it does begin to expand. The people watching on as the air does emit a massive shockwave, and the noise sounds like lightning striking the earth. If not louder, the massive boom erupting around them. And Deku does stand there. Before he does go to activate Draconic Empowerment, turning on Fury, and smashing his fist down once again. And this time the massive noise that does go to erupt, it does people flying backwards, watching as the crater does expand even more. And this time Deku, he does still feel the ground shake when he pulls his fist back. Right now, him thinking about it. If ringing the dinner bell hasn't worked, then the ground underneath him beginning to roar out with a rumble. And he does go to leap backwards up into the air and manifest his draconic wings. Right now, the creature going to try and swallow Deku whole in an instant. Though he just keeps going up and up and up. And he does go to look down at the massive, razor-sharp maw of the creature. No eyes, dark outer shell, and razor spikes on its back. Him alarmed. As he does go flying up, he does go to leap forwards. Him flapping his wings and rushing towards the creature. Him going to send a full force strike down onto its massive armored face. And when he does a smash out into the creature, he does go to watch it slide directly backwards, recoiling from his strike. It going to turn and roar out, blasting bile directly at him. And he does a fly directly to the left. It swinging at its tail as Deku does bring up an arm. Him trying to block the attack as he is struck in the side and sent flying crashing into the dirt. And this time, as Toth, he does come flying down. Deku's standing up and going to wipe the blood from his face, smiling and activating Fury. And this time, he does go to watch his giant dragon. It flying down and beginning to blast out fire directly at its armor plating. It turning its attention as Astoth does a crashing down into its side. Deku rushing in as Little Wrath, he does come flying in. And whenever it does go to turn blasting out towards Wrath, the dragon does a roar out. It going to blast towards the flames and striking the bile directly out of the air. This time, Wrath flying over and trying to chomp down directly on this thing's face, trying to attach itself to his hide. And Deku, he does come in. When the body of the worm does begin to emit this strange noise, he does a roar out for his companions to fall back. Wrath flying up into the air as Astoth does still try to hold it down. It emitting a roaring crackle as Deku does to watch the lightning around it begin to erupt. And Astoth does a roar out in pain, going to flap away. The creature turning itself away and trying to strike it with its massive armored tail. Now, Deku, he does get a turn watching that, rushing in and punching out with force magic. Right at the creature going to be sent flying into the air and crashing over 50 feet away. Right now, Deku looking down at his hands and going to smash his fist together, turning to Astoth and talking about it. So, how did he think that went? The creature turning and going to emit somewhat of a grunt towards him. And he does get a turn to Wrath, talking about it. Is he okay? Chirping out. Him nodding and looking back at the massive creature. And he does think about it. Fury might be all he needs, but a lucky strike. The creature raising him into the air and burrowing down into the ground. Yep. So it's going to try and do that again. Okay. Maybe this might have been a little too much. Astoth roaring out. He does a turn to Wrath, telling him he needs to retreat now. It chirping out in protest as Deku does a run forwards, grabbing the dragon and leaping out in the air. Them flapping off as Astoth does a flap into the air as well, and he does nearly get bitten into by the massive creature. The dragon flapping up high and turning. It going to erupt with wind magic. And Deku does stare at his familiar. 4 types? Him surprised. The dragon going to spin around and blast out lightning from its maw. And this does a strike the giant worm as it does a roar out, blasting more vile out towards him. It going to aim for him with its teeth and trying to rush at the dragon. Though it does it higher and higher up into the air before the worm does a crash into the ground. And Izuku does a turn and release the small dragon from his grasp. Him turning back to the battle and telling Wrath to stay out of danger. The dragon, annoyed, but going to follow his orders. Since this, it does look more dangerous. And Izuku, he does go to fly back in, crashing into the massive worm, striking his fist out and beginning to watch as his armor does go to tear. Now, Deku, he does go crashing backwards, landing to the ground and going to leap back forwards. The worm going to try and strike out at Deku once more. Though Deku does it to plant his feet and throw up his hands. Him using voice magic as one of the creatures are striking at Deku's hands, he does go to blast it back out. Him going to watch as the worm, he does have counter to the force. And this does surprise Deku for a minute. Him stepping forwards and striking out with fury. Him watching as the body does go to blast away with its armor, beginning to start cracking. And this does mean much. Right now him turning and watching the creature begin to erupt with lightning. Astoth trying to bite through its armor point blank, blasting more fire into its body. And he does a roar out as the creature does a spin. Its maw landing on its shoulders, the two do try to bite into each other. And Deku, he does see that. Annoyed as he does go to roar out for Astoth to get back. And the creature, it does begin to try and puke up the bile directly onto the dragon. This time, the dragon erupting with lightning as the two creatures, they do get locked in a bit more of a strike down. And Deku, he does bring up his hands. Him going to create an area of destruction around him to protect himself from the lightning. And people, they are watching on. I mean, he's fighting it without weapons. And he's doing fairly well. This surprising the person. Right now, someone standing there with a crystal in their hand. And it does mean a glow with a certain magic. Right now, Deku going to bring his hands up and blasting out towards the creature. Him going to watch as the creature, it does going to let go of the dragon and spin back around, beginning to scurry towards him at a massive speed. Him bringing his hands up and planting himself to the ground, getting ready. He can catch it, and he does have a few ideas. Spirit activating around him and beginning to glow through his eyes. Him deciding to see whether or not he can. And this is where the creature, it does a strikeout rookie at Deku as he does go to take 2 steps to the right. The creature crashing into his Deku does avoid his massive teeth. However, he does go to strike into his lower jaw and begin to bury his feet into the ground. Him pushing forwards and stopping the creature. However, the creature, it does go tumbling forwards. Right now, it beginning to fly over Izuku as its body is airborne. And Deku, that's exactly what he wanted. Right now, him going to slam his arms back down, digging into the creature's hide. Using his adamantine claws to strike the creature back down with full force into the earth. And whenever it does it a crash back down, Deku, he does attempt to try and raise it back up in the air. Hearing about how his strength has increased. And Deku, he does go to begin tearing off that part of the front jaw. His hands coming away with parts of its armor. And the creature does roar out with pain. It blasting bile directly at Deku. Him going to bring up his hands and clap hard. The creature going to take the strike as Deku, he does go leaping backwards. Right now Aztoth going to flap its wings in the air and be covered in blood. Deku turning and bring up his hand to heal his companion. And the dragon, it does begin to have its wounds begin to close and the blood stop. Looking back down towards the creature and talking to Aztoth. Does he think that he can continue? It tripping out, since this is very fun. That's what I thought. I'll rush it. You want to try and go for the armor? Do you want the front end or the smelly end? Don't like smelly. That's what I thought. Don't get bit again, okay? Won't promise. It turning. Before Deku does a bring his hand up and begin to do one simple thing. He does go to create magma in the air, telling Aztoth about how he can cause distraction momentarily. Though, does he think that this is cheating? The creature rushing towards the both of them, as Deku, he does go to blast out spikes of obsidian when he does it to cool the magma. And whenever this dude go to strike to get down to its armor, it does go to take the blows as the obsidian does brick against its skin. Deku flying back forwards and going to crash down hard onto its plated back. Him going to watch the worm begin to turn and try and bite through him. Aztoth crashing onto its back and going to bury its full weight directly onto the worm, crashing it down to the ground and biting through into its armor. The dragon beginning to slash away and begin to strike it. And this is where Wrath does it fly back in. Right now the dragon coming down and digging its claws directly down into the creature. It slashing away and cutting into its armor. Deku going to turn and watch a small dragon. Him roaring out for it, however he does look down and see that its claws do come away with blood. And he does go to tell it, fight. The creature going to roar out with excitement. And he does hear it say a few things into his head. It's happy. And he does a turn back, happy himself, raising his fist and crashing down into it hard. Right now the three are trying to wear it down. And he does even try to think about the best possible way to do that. The best thing he can do. He doesn't want to end the fight too quickly. He wants to enjoy it. He wants to feel angry. Get all this aggression out. Snap. Lose it for a minute. Just let it happen on a creature that can take his blows. This is going through Deku's mind. And when he does go to slash it up in the back, he does hear about how Fury has increased to level 7. And he does go to laugh out with relief, with enjoyment. He's having fun. He's having fun. And the dragons, they do begin to roar out alongside him. Him raising his hands and activating level 1 of Draconic Empowerment, crashing his fist down and striking with force magic directly into the creature's side. On the creature, it does go to crash into the earth and bounce off. Deku spinning as the giant tail does come towards him. The spike on the end of it trying to stab into Deku as he has to bring up his hands, sidestepping it and then going to swing his body around, striking with force magic as hard as he can. Right now, him going to strike it directly in to the tail and take off the stinger. It coming off with the creature emitting a loud roar of pain. And this, it does make him laugh out. Him going to dig his claws directly into this thing's tail. Him going to slash into it and then going to turn. Thinking about what he should strike next. The face. The spike fins on its back. Or simply try to go for the kill. His rage doesn't feel like it has a bottom. Right now, he just wants to punch it. And he does begin to bury his fist down into its armor. Its armor plates begin to crack away as Deku, he does begin to strike it harder and harder, giving all his aggression into his punches. And right now, Astoth, he is flying up. Deku being covered in lightning as the creature does go to strike him down, emitting the force that does surround Izuku. Him going to take the strike as a spin back after releasing the attack and roaring out trying to bite him. Though Deku, he does go to bring up his hands and catch the creature by the jaws. Its massive armor and fangs being right there in his face, beginning to dig into the palm of his hands as Deku, his hands do go to still radiate with magic. And it does sort of roar out at him, try to bite down, though he does keep his jaws separated. Him going to charge up his foot and do one thing. He does go to push it backwards as it does go to recoil. The plating beginning to buckle as it does begin to fly forwards once more. Deku kicking it in the face hard. And her giant teeth go flying away, Astoth does come back in, shooting down with cold magic. Ice. And when it does go to cover its armor, it does momentarily freeze, trying to move the plates, but finding that spot doesn't do so. It's turning and going to try and spit the bile onto its own armor. However, Deku, he does go to abuse that chance, stepping in and rushing forwards, throwing his fist out and striking it alongside as he does go to watch one of the plates begin to rip away and go to be sent flying. Right now, him sitting in the air as the one does a turn, blasting out towards him as he does bring up his hands, punching out the bile and going to destroy it. Some flying towards him, though he doesn't care. Right now, he does go flying towards the creature again, crashing it in the other side of the face. And then he does a fly forwards, pummeling into it more. Its plates cracking away, breaking, and the dragon, it does a crash onto the creature, trying to pin it. As Deku, he does go flying down and crashing into its head once again. This time, him hitting it hard and going to pull his hands back. Turning as he does somewhat huff and puff with exertion. Turning to look around for his companions. And whenever he does see Astoth blasting and covering its place with ice, he has a turn. Watching his wrath is chomping away at an exposed portion of flesh. And that it does make him feel relieved. Him turning back to the creature as he does go to turn his draconic empowerment to the maximum, level 6, roaring out to his companions to retreat. And they do a turn looking at Deku. Reno him with a wild look in his eyes. though his power, they can tell that it just shot up massively. And he does go to fly up into the air and leap backwards. Him crashing the ground as the worm, it does go to roar out and try to break away the ice covering its body. It charging with lightning and beginning to rush at Deku again. Right now, him going to stand there, planting his feet and holding up his fist. And they do go to radiate with a strange glow around them. As Deku, he does go to bring them up, waiting for it, and then the creature, it does go roaring out, making its way towards Deku as he's quickly take 3 steps to the right, him spinning and turning and punching at the creature. Its head being sent flying away as the creature's body, it does go to recoil to the left and smash the ground. Deku watching its head roll as he does go to turn to the worm, staring at that annoyed. Right now, him looking back to the head. As the worm's body, it does continue to move, him turning his head and looking at the creature. As the creature's body does begin to start moving again and turning back to Deku. Him just surprised. Before he has a rush forwards, stepping in and beginning to try and break the creature's body apart. Right now watching as the body, it does try to burrow back to the ground. Though whenever Deku does gonna bring up his hands, he does gonna smash at Doki in the back. Him punching off the part with a stinger and going to bring his hands up, ripping the earth apart and pulling it up into the air, holding the worm in place. And whenever he does do that, he does go to bring it higher and higher up into the air. Before he does gonna drop it, and he does gonna get ready. Going to look up and rush it into the air, flying up quickly and punching this thing apart. Right now its body, being sent flying as viscera, is sent into the air. Him watching as it does begin to rain blood and crashing into the dirt. Him just surprised. Standing there in the air and looking around. There's gotta be larvae around here. Though he does get the notification. Staying there for a second, as he's gonna get the notification, he's reached level 300. And he does go to feel his body immediately begin to strengthen. However, it is a rush of euphoria and power he was not expecting today. Feeling it increase. And he does go to look up, feeling it not stop. It feels better. It feels more. And he does go to hold his hands for a second and realize one thing. Getting the notification about how his stats have all been increased by 100 points. The exception being his power stat, which has increased by 50 points. And Deku, he does get to stare at that notification. Before he does have a list pop up asking him to choose a level 300 reward. Him looking at that and going to dismiss the notification, deciding that he can deal with that later. Though he does get to turn back to the purple worm. No, the sentry worm. Okay, wow. That was certainly therapeutic. He didn't expect to break through so quickly, though. Right. Him looking around, feeling a bit embarrassed as there is or something does go fly towards him. Him staring at that and beginning to feel more power come into him. Just surprised. Looking down and... Oh. Okay, he's fine. What was that? Huh. Him turning, and someone they do to hold their hands asking if he's alright. I'm fine. What did you do? I used a skill on you to examine you for injuries. You're fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, I'll be alright. I'd check the dragons if I were you. The person turning their head examining the battlefield and still being shocked by it. This land was devastated before, but to see it be actively ripped apart in a battle, that was incredible. That was hard to witness. What are you? I'm the hero of Granala. Now, if you excuse me, I've got to pick up the pieces here. Now, I was hoping to bring something back to the guild, but I don't even know if they're going to be able to fix this, let alone figure this out. Its plates are tough, though, I'll tell you that much. More resistant than I thought. Though its head. What can I do about that? I believe not much. But, we'll handle the creature. And its remains. We are supposed to report back in anyways about what we've seen. The king was curious about witnessing your battle, as well as our neighboring nation. Deku turning his head, seeing some people flying down, and one of them does hold up a broadcasting crystal. Him staring at that and realizing one thing. An entire nation might have watched him body slam a giant creature. That nation, however, just so happens to be one that is incredibly battle hungry. So upsides and downsides, him sighing out as the person, they do go to turn back and begin talking to the king. Him going to walk over and tell the man. So as he saw the creature is dead, what exactly is the reward for this beast anyways? It is, well, you may claim your reward. My own reward, huh? Yes, though you may ask for anything in return. Even my daughter's hand in marriage. I'm already married, but I'm gonna pass on that. Respectfully, sir. Ah, I do understand. Though, I have an idea. To go turning to the other man, who does go express with his arms crossed. How about another challenge? Something like that? Perhaps later. I've got to report back in. Make sure everything's going fine with the nation I'm currently staying in. After that, I plan to do more hunting. Though, tomorrow my prey might be dragons. Prey. After that display, that statement is fitting. Tell me, what other manner of beast have you slain? Tons. Deku's staring at the man, and the man does look at him with a warrior's curiosity. He just saw a man fight that creature with his fist and magic. Right now, his blood is boiling for a brawl, along with many others. And the man, he does a stand. Right now, him walking off the screen of the broadcast. And Deku does turn back to the king, who is way more reasonable. A suitable reward. If it isn't too much trouble, do you think that I can get my gear taken care of? Your gear? You're not even wearing armor. Yeah. I wasn't sure about using it for this. It's how I wanted to do this hunt. Though, speaking of that, I should get my dragon's armor. That will cost a lot of money. I got it, though. Never mind. I want to ask you to make them armor. I would like to ask for my weapons to be enchanted. Along with my armor impossible. If possible. And if it's not too much trouble. The man surprised. That sounds like an easy request. Young man, what material is your armor made out of? Well, along with your gear? Well, adamantine. Adamantine? That is. I see. That shouldn't be too hard. I will talk to our court mage. See what we may do. Any particular effects you may want. Not that I can think of, but something sharp? I know my Nodachi can do a whirlwind slash. I like that ability. Something precise, good, powerful. Something with a strike to it, I want to say. And for your shield, I don't know about that, but well, I would say sharpness, but I would like to not use that as a weapon if I could. Though I have. You have? Yes. Sorry, I didn't realize I was speaking out loud. Something good for my shield. And my armor, if it is possible to be more protective. I know adamantine is very powerful, but the threats I'm dealing with might be more powerful, I think. I see. It shall be done. Though the creature, your kingdom may handle that. I'm not really sure if I should bring that back to Granola. Its armor is tough, though. That much can be said. Him crossing his arms, as Wrath does come flying over and going to land on his shoulder, chirping out about what happened. Him quite happy he was able to jump back into the battle and not be told to run off. Deku turned to the dragon. Yeah, I know. I forgot about your claws, okay? You had me worried. Quite a doting father. Deku turning back. You're not entirely wrong. I found him whenever he was a hatchling. And he just bonded to me. Though I did resurrect his mother, so there is that. The man trying to wrap his mind around the very statement that was just said. I see. It will be done. It may take a few days as well. We do thank you for your aid in this matter. Hero Izuku. Deku bowing his own head to the man as a sign of respect. And the man, he does go to inform the person holding the crystal to please hang it up, as the hero does have very important matters to attend to. They will be sending a team out there to inspect the area. Now that the worm has been dealt with, it should be easier to try and find any spawn it may have already had. Deku can turn and look into the distance, trying to think about what he can do. Head somewhere and try to recalibrate his newfound strength. That's gotta be the first thing he's gotta do. Though, maybe try and see about that dinosaur. Him turning to his companions. How do you guys feel about lunch? Both of them chirping out as Deku does talk about it. Hey, he's hungry. Besides, he's curious about dinosaurs. All three of them going to vanish over Deku does climb on to the dragon's back. And the man staying there, he does sit there for a second, turning back to the worm's head that the guy punched clean off. Now, with that being said, Deku, he does eventually find that dinosaur. It was chasing a group of adventurers. And where these people do go to watch a dragon tackle a dinosaur, they think they're in a lot bigger problems. Though whenever they do get to see a man walk up and talk to the dragon, they're a bit more surprised, quite happy to not be in danger. And Deku, he did go to sit down and have a meal at their campfire. Him going to roast one of the dinosaur legs while trying to talk to these people. And they're still quite alarmed by his power. I mean, his companions, that's another thing. Though he does try to ask them about what they're doing. And they do try to tell him. They're adventurers who are trying to handle quest. Izuku talking with these people for a little bit of time. And after they do go to part ways, he does go to do one very simple thing. He does go to drop off his armor back at the kingdom. Since he did kind of just leave a little suddenly. And this, it does mean something. Upon his return, they're quite happy to see him, the king being very formal and trying to talk with Izuku. Though the man can tell that Deku isn't in much of a conversation mood. Saying that the kid, he does seem to be a little alarmingly so. Incredibly, what's the right word? In need of battle? Yeah, that's the right way to put it. And that is exactly what Deku does try to spend the rest of the day doing. He does try to see exactly how far his new strength can be pushed, trying to recalibrate how everything is, how his muscles feel. I mean, having his power stat double, that means his body can withstand so much more. He feels ready if Granola is ever attacked. And right now, that is one of his worst fears. And we do actually have right now Deku. He does go to teleport back in to the castle. Right now, him going to have his arrival be announced. Remember, people, the servants do learn that Izuku, he did come back dirty and requesting someone prepare a bath. Right now, him sitting there for a minute, trying to regain his bearing, but still staring down at his own hands. Still in disbelief about the newfound strength. It's nice. And after Deku, he does go to somewhat sit there, trying to contemplate what to do tomorrow. Hunt dragons? That would be productive. The best path to strength? Yeah, maybe so. But he needs to find a good one. I mean, that one quest that his advisor told him about would definitely be good. Though, maybe something else? Search for abilities. Abilities. That might be a good option. But what could he try and find? I mean, maybe something decent? Something good? Okay. He'll definitely have to start looking this more. Ironically, go to hell and see if he can find something there to hunt. Now, there is a phrase he never thought he would say in his life. Go to hell to try to kill something. Huh. That might actually be an interesting idea. Though, is there any way to gain rewards from other abilities? No, other abilities, other rewards from stuff like that? Events certainly do have that, and he does have something to claim from the gods. And that might be nice. Deku going to stand after some time and getting dressed, heading back to his room as there is where he does go bring up his hand. Him surprised that his crystal is beginning to glow. Before he does go to squeeze it and release some mana into it. It opening up as someone does get someone sit there. Bakugo. Huh. I knew you were too stubborn to die. Hey, asshole. So, how long was I gone? I think 4 days. Right. Yeah, that's what I kind of expected. I'm surprised. Yeah, to be honest, I couldn't find you. Really? That's odd. I don't make the rules. Him walking in the hallway and going to get to his door, leaning against it, and asking Bakugo, "So, where has he been?" "I don't know. I've been still messing around with the abilities. I gotta say, I think I finally started to match you. Might be a hard thing to say. I did just break through level 300 this morning." Show off. Yeah, get this. At 300, her stats go up to 100%. My increases went to 100. Shit. So, you're, um, I guess, 2 goals ahead of you. I know Chaco is 1 behind me, I guess. She's still going through that thing. And the guy? I killed him whenever I felt you awaken. Right. So, how does this work? There's a tutorial. No, I mean, you've got a better control over it than I do. I'd ask. I thought I should ask the expert. I'm not an expert. That was your first mistake. Deku hearing a noise, turning back to his door and looking at it confused. Huh. Okay, so Indra's with Aztoth, but is Wrath out hunting? He hears 2 heartbeats in there. You alright? I'm fine. Just been an odd day, believe it or not. Now that's saying something. Yeah, I guess I should be saying that. I met my dad's doppelganger. How did that go? Apparently, he's a city guard. I crashed into a fountain, so there's that. But, yeah. We're not on the material plane. Where are you? I don't know. I mean, I'm in one of the upper planes, I think. Right. Listen, Deku going to push his door open. And whenever he does get to do so, he has a turn looking off screen to Bakugo. His eyes going very wide. And he does see a scene directly in front of him. There is Indra. She's sitting there. And he does get a turn to see. I gotta call you back. Huh? But weren't we going to? Deku hanging up, stepping in and locking the door behind him. And with that being said, I do believe that is a good point to leave this part off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.